Hello everybody, Nortarad here, and today we're going to be covering off two subjects all in one. I've been asked about how do you create a dedicated server for free for ArmA2, and whether or not you can create your own server for something like Chernarus Life and stuff like that. So I'm going to be covering that off in the second half of the video. So right now we are going to be covering off creating your own dedicated server right on your own computer. What I recommend is that you install and do all this on a separate computer than what you use for gaming, but you don't have to. It's just that your game performance will be much better if you're not running a server on the same computer that you're running your game. Anyway, let's all get started. The first things that we need to do is we need to give you an interface so that you can actually change parameters in your server without having to know script and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to download a tool from ArmAholics. So if you open up your Internet Explorer, I have it bookmarked under Games, and the tool is called Toph's ArmA Dedicated Server tool. Now this is a great tool. It's very easy to populate and then run your own server on, and it's a very small file, believe it or not. And all this does is interact with the ArmA2 server file that's already on your computer. Okay, so we'll go through down at the bottom of this. Now what you'll also need to run on your computer for this to work is your Microsoft.NET framework. You need that anyway to run your server. You probably already have it on your computer for running other games, that sort of idea. So we won't worry about that. There's plenty of other videos across YouTube that covers .NET. So down at the download, this will take us to the ArmAholics download page. If you want to find this later on, then just go to the armaholics.com website, and it'll be under their download section, and it's all under ArmA2 miscellaneous and utilities, and somewhere in here you will find it. But yeah, it'll be Toph's ArmA Dedicated Server tool down in that list. So anyway, when you come to this page, everything you want to know about the tool is here. The description, installation instruction, future ideas or plans that he has for it, and the change log ever since he first created it and released it. So you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page. Just click on the first one or second one to download it. Save it to your computer, and it's done. It's that quick, believe it or not. So I'll just go here, right click, say open containing folder, and there it is, the TADST. So I can close my internet browser now. So we'll move that over there, and we'll open up a second browser, and we'll bring up where your ArmA2 is. Now this is presuming that you use Steam for installing your ArmA2. If you downloaded it directly from someplace else, when you go into C drive, program files x86, it'll be in the Bohemia Interactive folder. Only it'll say ArmA2 in there. This is the ArmA2 free. Okay? But because I use Steam, we'll go through Steam, Down near the bottom here is Steam Apps. And in here is a folder called Common. These are all the files that you've had on all the games that you have in Steam. We'll go to the ArmA2 folder. Now in here, there should be a file called ArmA2 Server, but there's not. You can get it from any place. You can download it individually, or it's already on your computer if you have ArmA2 free or ArmA2 Operation Arrowhead. It uses the same server information. So if we go over to the free one, there it is. It's called ArmA2 Server.exe. Just copy that baby. Go back to your ArmA2 because we're going to create a server for ArmA2, running your own ArmA2 server. So we'll paste the server file in there. Now, if you just double click on that, you just get a bunch of script, and you have to script it to tell ArmA what your server name is and all that. But that's just a bunch of confusion as far as I'm concerned. We're going to use this tool here that we downloaded to interface with ArmA2 Server executable, so that'll be easier. So what we do is we'll just drag that over here and we'll extract here. And what that does, it will create the TADST folder, and in there will be the executable and just a README file with everything that was up on the web page there. It tells you what it is, installation instructions, future plans, the history of it, that sort of idea. Now we got to move this over into the root directory of ArmA2. So just right click that, copy, go back one level and paste it in the same folder that you have the ArmA2 server and that all your multiplayer mission folders and everything is in. Now we're ready to interface with the server. So as soon as we click on this, actually we don't need downloads anymore. Double click on that, and that is the interface that we're going to be dealing with right there. We'll leave most of this as its defaults because I'm not going to waste your time. We're just going to show you the quickest and easiest steps to create your own ArmA2 server. So the first thing that we need to do is tell this tool where the server file is. So if you hit the browse, it should bring you right into Steam Apps ArmA2 because that's where we put the executable for TADST. And it should bring you there because that's the ArmA2 server. So there's the server file. We'll select it and say open, and it'll populate that right there. Now the profile that we're using is default at the moment. You can add new ones all the way through, but we're just going to cover this one for now. Okay, so up at the top of this first tab, server details, we want to have a name that everybody around the world can see on the multiplayer list of servers. So we're just going to call this Nortarad's default dedicated ArmA2 server. Alrighty. And this password here is for if you want to lock your server, so only players that you give the password to can come in. So this is the password that players would need to get in. If you leave it blank, then your server is open for everyone to come and enjoy and have fun. But if you want to lock it down so that only invited people can join, then you just enter in the password here, such as we'll call this happy. Now maximum players, we're going to leave that as default 10 players. The more players that you put in here, then the more resources is going to be used by your computer running the server. So just remember, if you have 100 people on your computer, it's going to slow down. We'll leave the default at 10. Admin password. This is to get into the administration of your server once the game's running. We'll call this Happy Joy. Okay, don't worry about all this stuff. You can just hover over it and it'll tell you what it is. Persistent battlefield. We're going to select that. That means after the server started and at least one person joins in the game and the game starts to play, then the game will continue playing even if everybody logs off and there's nobody there. Otherwise, if that's unchecked, every time the last person leaves, the server's going to restart, and the next time somebody joins, they'll have to wait for the mission to start and all that again. So we'll leave persistent on. BattleEye, that's the anti-cheat engine that ArmA2 uses. If you turn that on, then it goes and uses the same list that BattleEye uses for globally banned people. Those people will not be allowed on your server. And people above a certain ping won't be allowed on your server either. Okay? So we have the BattleEye. If you have friends that you want on your server and they have trouble joining your server because of a high ping or during the anti-cheat logs, turn off BattleEye. Your server's locked anyway with the password, and so you'll have very small chance of somebody coming in and nuking your entire server. But we'll leave that on just for now. Disabling voice over network. That's if you don't want people to chat inside the game. Leave it off because it's just going to be your friends. If you're going to go live, you can disable it, and that way nobody will be able to talk in the side channel, for example. Okay? Okay, server rules. Just leave this as default for now. You can read up more on all this stuff. We're just going to get you up and running. Message of the day. When you first join a server, you'll notice that some of the server will pop up some messages for you. So we're going to give it a couple of messages here. Welcome to my default dedicated server. And that line will show up. Now you can have a whole bunch of lines here. Help. Don't kill me, please. And it'll be 3 seconds in between each line showing up on the game. So after that message shows up, it'll count to 3 seconds and show the next line. If you want quite a few seconds before each line is shown, you can increase the seconds between each message down here, such as put it up to 10, and each line will be counted as 10 seconds. So if you have that first line there, enter in a few blank lines and say something like, thanks for joining in the fun. So it's going to show that message down in the lower left hand chat where everybody chats and types in their chat. It's going to populate it as if the server's saying it. So it'll put that message up, then it'll count 10 seconds because that blank line. And it'll count another 10 seconds, that blank line. Then it'll count another 10 seconds, that blank line. Then another 10 seconds, it'll show you next line. And you can have a whole bunch down here. It'll only show you messages once. So if you want certain things to show up over and over again at the beginning of somebody joining the server, then just add a whole bunch of lines and thanks for joining in the fun. So what is that? That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So almost a full minute and a half later, it'll put up this message again after they're in the game. But you get the idea. So we'll remove all those blanks. So that's that so far. So that's under the server rules. Now missions. Now remember we put the TADST execute in the root folder with the server and your multiplayer missions over here. So over here it automatically knows to go to multiplayer missions and populate this with a list of all the missions you have in there. So if we open this up, we'll see that all the missions I have in here will show up. I only have one right now for this example. Now if you want your server to play that mission, you got to put a check mark in there. So if there's a whole list in here, then you can have a check mark on the ones that you like. And as it plays one mission and then all of a sudden the mission ends, one side wins, everybody is brought back to the lobby to laugh at each other and point fingers at people that did things wrong. And then the server will start on with the next mission in your list that has a check mark and start that mission while everybody's still there. Okay, or if you just want one mission all the time, just check mark one of them. So we'll go over to mods. Don't worry about mods. We're just going to get you up and started right away. Default settings. These are all the default settings for your server. Some of your missions will overwrite these settings, but a regular mission won't. So you can set it up so you can have third-person view turned on or uncheck it and it'll be turned off. If you click on any of these options over here, off in the right-hand corner will be a description of what that option is and what it will do. Okay, such as enemy tag. It'll show name tags above enemy once you're close enough. And friendly tags, you always want that so you don't shoot your friend. Stuff like Ultra AI. It basically creates a super AI. They hear and see more, and it increases their tactics. And that's for both the friendly and enemy side. But we'll just leave all that as default for now. Performance. We'll leave that all as default, and again, if you click in each box, in the info box, it'll show you or explain to you what everything is. Okay? Server scripts. I'm not a script bunny, so I don't know what scripts I want in here. I don't care. We're not going to put any added scripts in. We just want to get you guys up and running. So, we have this label set all as the default profile. We'll save. Yes, save. And voila. All we do to launch the server is push launch. It'll launch up the server. And right there is your server running. Yep, believe it or not, that's all that shows up. Now to shut down your server so it doesn't run anymore, you just click on the close button. Now remember, as soon as you close that, everybody that's in that server is booted back out because there's no longer a game plan. And it's no longer showing up on the list of servers. That's why I recommend if you're going to be running a game that's constant, then you're going to want it on a separate PC or a separate laptop that's constantly running that server. Okay? So to close down the server, we just say close. And the next time that we start up, it'll bring up the default. That's something else that we want as well. We want an easy way to start this. So in your ArmA2 folder, where you put the TADST, the tool, we'll just call it the tool from now on. Wherever you put the tool, just right click on that and drag it to, say, your desktop or down in your taskbar. Create a shortcut. That'll save you having to go into this folder every time that you want to start up the server. Okay, so we'll start up the server, and all the parameters that you left in default are still there. Server name, passwords, the whole bit. So if you want to change passwords, now is the time to do it before you launch the server. And all the missions are the same. Okay. Okay, so we want to run more than just the missions that we have here. Say we played on a server where the loadout was great, the interface was great, they had special tools or special commands, that sort of idea. It was all great. Or say you went on to a server that was running Chernarus Life and you enjoy Chernarus Life and you want to run it on your server. Well, that's more easily done than you can ever imagine. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we want to make sure your multiplayer missions folder is there. Now, down in your start menu, down in the search window, type in this %apps data and app data %. So that is %APPDATA %. And just hit enter. That'll bring up the folder that we want to go to. Now, we don't want to be in the roaming folder. We want to go back to the app data folder. Okay, now in here is a folder called local. Open that up, and a game such as Chernarus Life we played on ArmA2, and any game that you played on ArmA2 is going to be in this folder here, and any game that you want to bring over into your list of servers. So in the ArmA2 folder, we're going to go to multiplayer missions cache. Now this is a list of every server that you played on in the game ArmA2. You know, when you first log into a server and you're at the lobby, then you say, okay, I want to play, and all of a sudden a file starts downloading, allowing you to play that map or that mission. Well, these are those files that are downloaded. So if you played on a map such as Chernarus Life, it'll be here someplace. So all we want to do is right click that, copy. Now over in your ArmA2 multiplayer missions folder, you want to right click, paste. You notice it's a PBO file. And that's it. So running your own server, again, we already set it up. Only this time we're going to run it so that we can have just a Chernarus Life. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new profile. And so we're going to call this Nortarad Life, just for a name. Okay. So we're going to change the server name. Nortarad Life Dedicated Server. We'll leave the password just to make it simple, happy, and admin password to happy, joy, joy. And everything else we're just going to leave the same, other than server rules. We'll say welcome to my Chernarus Life Dedicated Server. And thanks for joining in the fun. That's good. Okay, so we'll got that. Missions. Now you notice because we added a new mission here that it's now showing up over here. So we'll check that because we want our server to play that, but we don't want it to play that. So we'll double check that, or double click that, and it will remove the arrow. So when our server starts up, it's going to start Chernarus Life. Okay, and then we'll just leave everything else as is because we want to get you in there playing right away. So we'll say save Nort's life. Yes. And pun intended. So that's all saved. So when you come back into the tool, it'll start out at the default settings that you had. But if you drop down this list, every optional profile that you created will be in this list here. Right now we only have this one. And as soon as you click on that, that changes all the settings to what you last had for that profile, such as Chernarus Life. Alrighty. Now, I think that's everything we need. Okay, so we'll launch Chernarus Life, and we'll see that it's exactly the same as logging into one of those servers out there in the world and joining it, only it'll be on your computer. Now, something to remember is some of these servers that are created, missions that are created, has personal information to, say, the clan or to that specific server, such as they have an IP address in there for TeamSpeak, and they say at the beginning of the mission, all players are encouraged to join TeamSpeak 3 at such and such an IP address. Well, that's going to be in there because you copied it, okay? There's nothing you can do about that. So, and this will work for any other game that you played. It doesn't have to be Chernarus Life. It can be anything. Just copy that into here. So we're going to start the server. Launch. Being created, BattleEye is updated, and the server identity is created. So out there in the world, people see Nort's Life Dedicated Server. So let's go join that and see what it is. Okay, so we are in ArmA2 now. We're going to go to multiplayer. I'm going to say, yeah, okay. Now we're going to filter. Now, if you have, we're going to look for Nort server. Obviously, it's there. Just type in Nort and everything will come up. And then we'll, it's just loading right now because nobody's joined the server yet. And so we'll join. Put in the password, happy. And here we go. And this should look familiar to you if you've been playing Chernarus. Because you got the civilians and the cops. Why not be a cop for just this demonstration? Yeah, all the civilians are the same. No mayor or anything like that. Okay, cop it is. And the parameters here, you'll notice what the parameters are. You can't change them unless you log in as the administrator. And remember our password for that. So down in the bottom left is where we would log in. If you remember, our login is happy joy joy. And our status changes. We are now admin. Okay, and it shows off in the script too. Okay, so we can go into parameters now, and we can change whatever parameters. And this is the same for any mission that you're running on your own server. And I guess time of day, how many hours are day compared to night. Those are all changeable by you. We'll just keep them what it is there. I'm not sure. 20 hours day, 20 hours night, or whatever. Okay. But we'll just go back and we'll join the server. Boom, 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 boom. Now you won't see the download file or the download screen for the file because, well, it's already on your computer. If you're running the server on the same computer anyway. So we'll just wait for everything to boot up. And I've never played this before, so I don't know all the key commands or anything like that. But anybody that has played it will recognize the screens. We're just waiting for the server to boot up. It's loading the files now into the server. And just going to wait for that to start the game, or to start the mission. It's got to load everything up and confirm that everybody's assigned something. And we're in. Now everything transferred over. You can see all the markers on the map here, just like any other Chernarus life. Everything copied over from the game that you copied from your last played. So that would be like your life's not saved, but you have all the indicators on the map, and then off to the left you got just your map, everything laid out on it. I'm not sure what all these things are. You go down your tasks. Okay, this is where you can log in again anytime during the game. You can also have a kick or ban the players. I suggest you kick a player even if it takes a couple of times. You don't want to ban them because it's really difficult to unban them. So just kick them unless they do something like really, really wrong. After a couple of kicks, they get the hint that you don't want them on their server, but do not ban because you may want them back again. Okay. And all the server rules and everything like that is all down in here and copied over. Not exactly sure what all this is, but I'm not going to play it right now, but you guys know what it is, so you can read it out. And that's where the IP address for the TeamSpeak is. And that is incorporated in the file you brought over, so too bad. Okay, and these are all the rules or laws or whatever of the server that you copied over. And this is just all the details of the mission, I guess. Okay, let's join in. I guess the screen would look familiar to anybody tuning in. You'll notice that the server, I forgot to point out that the server messages that we typed in showed up. Looks like it's out on the pier of Chernarus. And it's confirming that you've read the rules, blah blah blah. Yeah, right. And you see the interface is just the same as the Chernarus life map that you played on. I'm assuming I'm a cop. You can go over and buy different, I guess this is where you buy your cars and that. I haven't got any money yet, but I'll be getting a paycheck soon. And I guess, yeah, paycheck soon. be where you buy helicopters. Okay. And what's over here? I guess this is sort of like a bank teller. You can send some of your money over to other players or withdraw out of your bank account and put it into your pocket so you can actually buy a car. And we just gotta wait for my first paycheck. Paycheck. Here. There's a hospital. You guys are all probably familiar with the type across the top showing how much money you got, hunger and all that stuff. Yay. And there's Chernarus. So we're there. Okay. Interesting. I don't know all the commands or anything like that, so I'm going to be screwing up for this a little bit. I'm not going to play for long. I'm just demonstrating how I am playing this on my own server, because we just brought this over. If you copied over from a clan server or somebody that deliberately created a map, whether it be Eternal's Life or any other mission, make sure you leave their credits in there. You know, they took the time to build it. Even maybe put a thanks to them in your server message. You know, the message of the day section of the server tool. And it looks like I've got money. Paycheck. So if I want to give somebody else money, I guess I would type it in there. The name would be on the list. And I guess if I want money, I'd type it in here. Let's try enough to buy a vehicle. Okay, that seems to have worked. Doesn't show no money in my pocket. It says I took it out. Let's go see what kind of a vehicle I can buy. Yeah, that's why I'm slow. Cockeyed there. Okay. Vehicle. Dirt bike, I guess. Bike. Okay. 2 seconds. Turn around and it'll magically be there. Ta-da! Oh, cool. I wonder if it's got a siren and everything. Commands, information. This is all new to me. You guys probably recognize it. For those that have played Chernarus Life. I can lock it. Unlock it. Exactly sure. Can't find my sign. Well, that's not it. Oh yeah. Okay. We'll try it. Oh, hit that, trying to speed up. Don't hit me. Okay, so it must be shift. Come iron is. Blue. Oh well. So that sort of works. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And come here, seagull. Here's my nice little bike. So that's how easy it is to, if you played a mission on ArmA2 and you really enjoyed the mission that somebody created, you can now have it on your own private server to play. And that'll be it. And thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourself a great one. Bye.